Hi, we're here to share to you what is employment contract. So, let's go. Now, what is employment contract? Consider your employment contract to be a roadmap to your career or for your career. It is legally binding agreement between you, the employee, and the employer that details the terms and circumstances of your employment. This contract functions similarly to a handbook, outlining what you can expect from your company and what they want from you. It covers crucial aspects such as your role and obligations, salary and benefits, work hours and circumstances, expectation and obligations, and plenty more. A written contract helps minimize misunderstandings and maintains a pleasant working relationship. It's having a mutual knowledge of the journey you're about to go. Now that you know the simple description of employment contract, let me give you an example to help you understand more what is employment contract. So, let's think about employment contract as a game. First, the character. Well, of course, sa mga games, pipili ka ng gusto mong character. Well, in employment contract, it's your job. Pipili ka ng gusto mong job. Next is loot, or your compensation for playing the game, which includes money, benefits, and perks, which we considered salary and benefits in employment contract. The third one is game hours. It's how much or how long you're going to work. As simple as that. And number 4 is team expectation, or the code of conduct in employment contract. This is the guidelines for behavior and communication inside the team. Number 5 and last is game rules. It's considered company policies, are the guidelines and regulation that governs the workplace. Your contract, like a game, can include possibilities for growth and development, just like leveling up. When you grind in your games, you usually level up and you receive something after leveling up. So, that's all for my example. Let's move to the next topic.
The function. It's signed before starting work and serves as a formal agreement to clarify duties, responsibilities, and expectations. Lastly, the parties and obligations. The employee, Rudolph, works as a personal assistant, following tasks, policies, and laws. The employer, Susan, provides salaries, benefits, and follows employment laws.
Description of the contract. So this contract is basically an agreement between two people. So the employer, who gives the job, and the employee, who will do the job. So they both agree on certain things like when the work starts, how much the employee will get paid, what the duties are, and how the job can end. So this contract helps both sides understand their responsibilities so that everything is fair and clear. Elements of the contract. So now let's talk about the important parts or elements that make this a valid and legal contract. There are 6 elements that must be present in any real contract. Number 1 is the consent. This means both the employer and the employee agreed the contract willingly. No one is being forced. In our example, both signed the agreement, so that shows consent. Number 2 is the offer and acceptance. The employer is offering a job. The employee is saying, yes, I accept. So this is shown at the beginning of the contract, where it says both parties agreed to work together. Number 3 is the object or job itself. So this is the actual job or work the employee will do. In our contract, this is mentioned in Section 4, Duties and Responsibilities. Number 5 is legal capacity. So this means both sides must be legally allowed to make a contract. So for example, they must be adults and of sound mind. What kinds of obligations are found in this contract? So now let's break down the types of responsibilities or obligation in the contract. We'll also look at where they appear in the contract. Number 1 is legal obligations. So these are duties that are required by law. So example, in Section 5, it says how the job can end, like giving notice in advance. So it also follows the Labor and Employment Act 2007, which means it's following the country's law. Number 2, civil obligations. So these are duties that can be enforced in court. So example, in Section 3, the employer must pay the agreed salary. Number 3 is reciprocal obligations. So these are promises that both parties owe each other. So example, in Section 2, both the employer and the employee are checking each other out to see if they are a good fit. Also, either one can choose to end the contract if something doesn't work out. And lastly, number 4, conditional obligations. So these only happen if something specific takes place. So example, in Section 9, it says the employee will receive gratuity only if they finish a certain number of years working. Another one, if the employee breaks confidentiality, there could be legal consequences, as explained in Section 6.
Legal implication and other relevant need to know. The contract establishes an annual employment relationship, meaning either party can terminate the employment at any time and for any reason not prohibited by law. Why it matters? This gives flexibility but also less job security. You can be let go without cause or notice unless stated otherwise in the contract. The contract specifies the compensation including base salary and frequency of payment. It means the contract lays out how much you'll be paid and how often. Example, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Why it matters? This ensures you know exactly what to expect in your paycheck and helps protect your right to fair and timely payment. It outlines the work location and employee benefits. It means the contract tells you where you'll be working, example remote, office, or hybrid, and what benefits you get like health insurance, retirement plans, and vacation days. Why it matters? Knowing your work environment and benefits is crucial for your quality of life and long-term planning. It mentions compliance with state and local law regarding paid time off. It means the contract agrees to follow legal requirements for things like sick leave, holidays, and vacation, which vary by state or city. Why it matters? Some places require a minimum amount of paid time off, and this clause confirms the employer is following those rules. Any additional compensation or bonus are at the sole discretion of the employer. It means bonuses or extra pay are not guaranteed. They're optional and only given if the employer decides to. Why it matters? Don't count on bonuses unless they're clearly stated as guaranteed in writing. The contract also addresses tax deduction from the employee's salary as required by law. It means the contract explains that taxes like income tax, and social security will be automatically taken out of your paycheck. Why it matters is ensures that payroll is compliant with tax laws and that you won't be surprised by how much is taken out. Compare and contrast. Absolute deed of sale. Ownership of the property is transferred immediately upon the execution of the deed. Once both parties sign the deed, the property officially belongs to the buyer right away. No waiting or extra steps. It means for the buyer, you become the legal owner immediately. The buyer gains full rights and responsibility associated with the property once the deed is signed. As the new owner, you now have control over the property, but also take on all responsibility like taxes, maintenance, and liabilities. It means you're fully in charge as soon as the deed is signed. There are typically no conditions attached to the sale, and the transaction is considered final. There's no if or when involved. The sale is unconditional and permanent. It means you don't have to fulfill any future requirements for the ownership to take effect. Uh, Conditional deed of sale. The transfer of ownership is subject to certain conditions being met. The sale isn't final. Ownership will only transfer if the buyer or sometimes seller fulfills specific requirements. Example, payment completion and document submission. It means the deal is not fully closed until the conditions are satisfied. Ownership of the property does not pass to the buyer until the conditions stipulated in the deed are fulfilled. Even if the deed is signed, the buyer doesn't legal own the property until they meet all term listed. It means you might not be able to use, sell, or modify the property until everything's complete. If the conditions are not met within the specify time frame, the sale may be avoided and ownership remains with the seller. There's a deadline or meeting the condition. If the buyer fails to do so, the seller can cancel the sale. It means there are risks the buyer could lose the opportunity to own the property if they don't follow through in time. So, contract of sale versus contract to sell is an agreement wherein the seller agrees to transfer ownership of the property to the buyer upon payment of the agreed upon price. This is a full and final agreement. Once the buyer pays ownership of the property transferred to them, it means it's a completed deal as long as a payment is made. The seller must hand over ownership. It creates immediate obligation for both parties, including the obligation to transfer ownership upon fulfillment of the contract terms. The seller must transfer ownership right after the buyer completes the agreed payment or terms. Both sides are expected to act right away. It means legally binding duties exist on the both sides. This is not a maybe, it's a solid agreement. Contract to sell is an agreement wherein the seller agrees to transfer ownership of the property to the buyer upon the fulfillment of certain conditions, typically the full payment of the purchase price. It's a promise to transfer ownership in the future once the buyer finishes certain requirements, usually paying in full. It means no actually transfer of ownership happens at signing. It's conditional. Ownership does not transfer until all conditions are met, making it more more akin to a promise to sell rather than an immediate transfer of ownership. This is more like a reservation or intent to sell. The buyer doesn't own the property yet and own until everything like payment or paperwork is fully done. It means if the buyer doesn't fulfill the condition, the seller doesn't have to go through with the sale. Conditional sale versus contract to sell. Um, Ownership is transferred immediately to the buyer but with condition attached. You may buy a car on the condition that you must insure it within 30 days. You already own the car, but if you don't insure it in time, ownership might revert to the seller, or rather penalties may apply. Important detail, if you fail to meet the conditions, ownership could revert to the seller to other consequences, as written in the contract could happen. Ownership is not transferred immediately, instead the seller agrees to transfer it once. Specific conditions are met, usually full payment. You agree to buy a piece of land, but the seller say they will transfer ownership only after you paid the full amount. Um, Main difference, in a conditional sale, ownership is given first, but with string attached. In a contract to sell, ownership is withheld until conditions are satisfied. With all points considered, I hope this report supports informed decision making moving forward. Thank you.